Hey, so my name is Chris Penny. I'm a student at MIT, and one of the main reasons I signed up for MIT and to go to the EMBA program was a international experience called Next Lab. My boss actually was in the first graduating class at MIT, and he came back and he showed me all the basic principles and learning guides. But the one reason I wanted to make a sacrifice with my family and staying up late at nights was to get an experience above and beyond anything that I've ever done in my life. So it's been a fun journey being in school. We had an opportunity to pick and choose what companies we would travel with international and really get to do a deep assessment on. And as I was going through the list of opportunities of companies that I wanted to really dedicate myself to, we had companies such as the International Red Cross. We had some very well-known organizations in South America and Asia. And I kept coming back to iKure, and it was a company I'd never heard of. I did some research online, and I really became struck with the mission and the noble principles that iKure had as a company. And as I continue to do research and look on YouTube, more and more my heart became pointed in the right direction towards this organization. So much so that I actually got several of my classmates that have become very good friends, lifelong friends, and we decided to work together based off the way we feed off each other and the different strengths we have. So we actually approached our professor at MIT and said, here's some people that we're looking at. Who, in your opinion, is the most aligned to our principles and some of the things that we're learning at MIT that is really focused on hand and mind and doing everything to make the world a better place? And we were encouraged with our professor really stating that the values of iKure, their leadership team, their CEO, Mr. Santra, she was very clearly pointing us in this right direction. And so as we started embarking in this journey and doing research on the data and providing the last mile healthcare, it went from turning into a project that we were doing for a class to really becoming something that I became passionate about, and I would say my teammates became passionate about. We jumped in with both feet. We've seen the incredible data that they have. We've been spending many nights late at night and waking up early in the morning, really fully understanding this. And as we continue to go down this path, we had an opportunity to come out to India and see exactly what this organization was about. And I will tell you, coming from America, I'm extremely humbled, I'm extremely excited, and I'm also extremely passionate to say that I've had a very small role of being part of this organization. On our trip, we actually got to go out to the villages that iKure is taking care of, and I keep going back to what Mr. Santra and the leadership team said of envisioning people walking 20, 30 kilometers to go get health care, and it being from the States, that just didn't make sense to me. And as we became embedded in different villages and towns across India and West Bengal, it really struck me how powerful this organization is doing and just how many lives that they are changing. We went into villages where people were pumping water by hand, where people had very humble homes. I was watching and looking at the people across the village and noticed that very few, if any, people had glasses. And it dawned on me that without iKure, there's a very good chance that many of the women and children and the husbands and the workers in the field would probably never get to see a doctor. And it really struck me knowing how far away they were from the city. If I had a fever, if I had a cough, or if my kids back home had any sort of disease, if I had to carry my daughters 10, 15, 20 kilometers when they're sick, would I do that, and what type of sacrifice would that mean on the family for missing a day of work and the downside of that? So watching a company come through and provide this health care to people in very, very remote areas, it wasn't just a noble act, it actually became life-changing watching what was happening to these women and children. We literally saw lines of people waiting to see doctors, and you could see people trying on glasses for the first time and seeing their eyes light up when they did this. We saw young kids that were in clear need of nutrients and malnutrition and getting the right shots. and knowing that iKure is literally having a chance to change these people's lives is really, really humbling to me. The other thing that really struck me was the passion of the employees, not just at their headquarters, which is somewhat to be expected in organizations, but the healthcare workers out in the field. I saw ladies who probably did not have very many work opportunities, standing with pride, becoming involved in their communities, becoming community leaders. I saw them getting up and talking and giving presentations to groups of several dozen people, and it dawned on me that these ladies' lives, the healthcare workers' lives, were not only transforming themselves, but they were also transforming an entire village. And we saw a couple different places out there, and being from the States and being from Texas, there's a lot of farming where I grew up, and we were literally standing in a rice field where the iKure team was innovative. They actually took a big celebration that was in a small town where they already had a stage, they already had tent, they already had electricity set up, and iKure went in there and saw that as an opportunity to really step up and help the citizens and the families in that area by using something that was built for another idea. And it showed me the resourcefulness that iKure had, and that they were truly vested in spending every last penny they have and saving out every last penny they could to make sure that people are getting the right health care. And so here I was standing in the field in a rice paddy with no major businesses around, and once again people were lined up and getting health care in the middle of a farming community. And it struck as I walked through on this as I remember Mr. Santra telling me the reason why he started iKure, and he told me the story of his dad having a heart problem one day and having to walk miles and miles and miles and miles, and that turned into an inspiration where I imagine that was something that he never wanted his dad to go through, and now they're helping tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of people a year, and it's been a very special opportunity and a very amazing and inspiring journey to be on. I've spent a lot of time personally working on data. This is one of the strengths of iKure. They have data sets for hundreds and thousands of patients, and being able to go through and take a look at the data and seeing where the patterns are and seeing exactly where the healthcare needs are. And as iKure continues to grow and expand and using the WIMS technology to really go in and provide that healthcare on a remote basis and have that ongoing health record with health cards and the biometric scanning that they're starting to do, I can only imagine what iKure is going to be like in 2 to 3, 4 years, 10 years down the road. It is literally going to transform this part of India, and as they continue to expand internationally, internationalize it as well too. So, in all sincerity, I'm standing in front of this team today, and iKure is a part of my fabric of my life, and this experience is not nothing that I'll ever forget. So, thank you.